Well, it's definitely earned me more money. Just like Decatur, they were paying 70 cents more for summer corn there in August. We were hauling corn 100 mile for 40 cents, and we're making 30 cents, and I wouldn't even known that price was probably on there. I wouldn't have thought of calling Decatur, but when you go to the Grower's Edge page, then it takes all that running around out of it for you.
Hi there, welcome to GrainTV. It's Wednesday, December 3rd. We had another day of mixed trade with wheat a leader to the downside, losing 13 cents a bushel, while corn and beans showed modest recoveries at the end of the trade. Cody, what happened with wheat? We were a strong leader at the early part of the week, and now we're off 13 for the day.
Absolutely. Well, there was some talks about a meeting over in Russia between government employees. They were talking about increasing the export standards on wheat. You know, they actually ended up, it seems as though they kind of tabled the talks here. They didn't talk about any other ways of constraining exports out of there. With that being said, I think what we saw here is the premium that was added to the wheat market just gets sucked right out. Keep in mind, though, there is some winter kill scenarios in Ukraine and Russia today. You'd think that would have been supportive, but it just hasn't been with all this talk about possible trade barriers here with Russia. Bottom line here is that about 15% of the former Soviet Union crop there is has a threat here of a winter kill scenario over the next couple nights. But, you know, Kevin, we've talked a lot about ethanol here. Corn was able to kind of hang in there. We had ethanol numbers released. What did we see there?
Right. We saw a good week. It was off from last week, but that's to be expected because it was a holiday-shortened week. We were off 20,000 barrels per day at 962,000 barrels. That still is outclipsing last year's pace in terms of production. And when we look at year-to-date production overall, we're still running 4.6% ahead of what we were doing this time last year. So that compares to only a 0.3% increase factored in by USDA. So, you know, it's still a positive demand factor underlying the corn market right now.
So with crude oil coming off as much as it has in the last week, we have a WASDE report on tap next week on Wednesday.
Right.
Do you think there's an opportunity, or this leaves the door open maybe to the USDA even revising their corn usage for ethanol here?
Yeah, I think, you know, there's two things here, Cody. One, as you mentioned, crude oil coming down doesn't bode well for ethanol production later on in the marketing year. That's certainly a given. But we do have exceptionally strong production in the first half of the marketing year that we've actually got in the books. So, you know, I'm not sure what USDA is going to do. I could see them sitting on the fence at this juncture because of those two counterbalancing forces right now. But certainly, as of where we are today, we are ahead of pace compared to what USDA is factoring in. But as you said, the outlook could be a little gloomier as we get into the second half of the marketing year.
That sounds fair enough. Now, we also have coming out tomorrow export sales. Here's the expectations. Corn between 600 and 800,000 metric tons. Soybeans between 650 to 850,000 metric tons. And wheat expected to come in right around 300 to 500,000 metric tons. If you have any questions about what we talked about today, give us a call at 877-472-4607. We'll be talking and tweeting about these export sales as they come out early on tomorrow. And remember, if you haven't done so already, go ahead and take a demo of our mobile trading app. You can do so in the top right-hand corner of grainhedge.com. You can see what it's like to have mobile quotes in your hand there when you're on the go and away from the desk. Thanks a lot for tuning in. We'll see you here tomorrow.